Bom dia a todas as pessoas. Daniela Fernandes aqui com vocês novamente.
Very good morning to you all. I'm Daniela Fernandes. I work for the Brazilian Ministry of Culture, and we'll now start our third conference about the possibilities of co-producing with Brazil. And we'll talk about the distribution as well in our country. We have 4 speakers today, and Karen will act as moderator. I would like to thank the presence of you all and say that the Brazilian Ministry of Culture would like to thank all the partners that allowed us to be here today. The Ministry then of Foreign Affairs, the Brazilian Embassy to France in Paris, Apex as well with the CASP that are helping so much with Brazilian cinema with so many activities. Globo, we would like to thank them as well. They will partake this panel today with us, and Paradiso Project, not to mention Sebrae as well, who made some previous trainings with our delegation. So we'll get to know furthermore about the possibilities of co-production with our country. Thank you very much to you all. I would like to call Karen to the stage then for us to begin. A very good morning to you all. My name is Karen. I work with Apex Brazil, the Brazilian Agency of Promotion of Investments and Exportations. I then work internationally in creative economy. And for us not to move things forward, then I would like to start calling Gabriel. He has been working with Brazilian media, more than 10 years of experience in this sector, director of content of TV Globo. He has been working with international acquisitions, co-productions, member of the International Academy of Arts and Television Sciences, and he represents Globo in Asia and in the United States. Thank you, Gabriel. Now I would like to call Ana Saito. She is an executive producer at Goodlani, focusing on prospection and development of projects, conception of international and national business. She is also responsible for films like Motel Destino, who was here in 2024, and series in partnerships with Netflix. Thank you, Ana. I would like to now call Marcio Fracaroli, CEO of Paris Films, responsible for television video, one of the biggest distributors in Brazil. He had the second place in market share last decade with more than 246 million of tickets sold, so that's quite an accomplishment. Thank you, Marcio. And I would like to also invite Silvia Cruz from Vitrine Filmes from 2010. She has been distributed more than 210 films and many viewers. She coordinates then different segments of. She's been working with Spain and as well Petrobras. So thank you very much, Silvia, as well. Most welcome. I would like then to begin with to thank all the speakers here today. Thank you so much, your presence here and your interest you have to get to know the Brazilian industry of audiovisual, not only in the cultural scenario, but also economically, and more and more international space. That's quite surprising, and we're happy about it. So we will now hear some of the players of the market that have been developing it, partaking as well for the development of Brazilian audiovisual. We will see strategies, business models, And I would like to then start passing you the floor so that you can introduce yourselves and your companies. I would like to start with Anna, if you don't mind. I'll pass you the floor. Good morning. Very good morning to all. I am Anna. It's an honor, really, to be here, I must say, in such an important meeting with Marché, so many partners representing Golani, representing Brazil, and I would like really to greet all of you. Having Brazil as country of honor, it's quite something for us, very important for us to be present in meetings like this and these festivals. Agente Secreto, I really have to say it was quite something you did yesterday. Thank you so much, quite an honor. And to present a bit Gulani, how does Brazil produce? Well, we're a group. We have a production company called Gulani. It has more than 30 years working, and have a distributor as well, Gulani Math, that has been recently launched. And talking about the production company, we started off producing films, movies, big screens, and 10 years later we started producing also for television and streaming, and we have 60 films being produced, 40 series, television and streaming, and among those 60 films, all of them independently, were done with resources from public policies in Brazil that have been getting stronger and stronger, private resources as well from Brazil, investors, and then as well with co-production funds. Gulani always understood since the beginning that we have to get inserted in this international ecosystem, in this international market, should I say, and we wanted to put forward our stories, our work, and to find then an audience that would then get us here at such important festivals and elsewhere, to be able to travel, to get to know international markets, and to be exhibited in the main international arenas. So to co-produce internationally is quite something for us. We started partaking in the markets quite early, and we have more than 20 then partnerships done with France, Italy, and Portugal, Japan, India as well, more recently. So therefore, always with this objective to take our films to more than 100 territories, partaking in international festivals, and we have been also selecting. We have awards as well. We had Motel Destino last year, co-production, Brazilian co-production of Encina Inflamável and Gulani, France with Maneki Films, and the Match Factory from Germany as well, and Brohaha from UK. Having in Brazil partnership, important partnership with Global Filmes, partner then of many of our projects traveling along, Telecine, Canal Brazil. So the film Motel Destino has been directed by Cadian Luz last year. He was here in the competition, and it is quite this possible model of financing, taking a Brazilian story, very Brazilian, made by our professionals with foreign professionals as well, and taking this to the globe. It is one of the models that we really like to produce with. So that on the one hand, and the other hand, series as well, films, television and streaming, a great partnership with Global Play and TV Global, producing independently original films as well, and many other streamings. And then I would like to underline as well Cena, fiction series, one of the biggest of Latin America, surely Brazil. It was top one non-English in many countries, and since November when it was launched, it is still quite an important project. Motel and Cena, they show the strength of our Brazilian production. It shows how we are capable of structuring, and our stories really, they are part of this global concert. We have a short video now of Gulani, just for you to have a look in images, of course. the content can be quite clear. Thank you very much, Anna. I'll pass the floor now to Sylvia. Very good morning. Thank you so much for the invitation. It is quite an honor, a pleasure to be here, especially after the day and night celebration yesterday. We're really happy. So many Brazilian citizens with so many players here as well involved, actresses, producers. It's quite an honor, really. I would like to start then talking a little bit about Vitrine. We started off 15 years ago. And 5 years ago, we started making it more international with partnership with Spain, more or less 300 films that we produced and co-produced with many different countries. This year, it is quite a year for us in terms of co-productions and festivals. We've been in Berlin and together with Globo, Silver Bear production with 4 countries. We'll speak later on about co-production as well. Brazil, Mexico, and Chile, and the Netherlands. Yesterday, Secret Agents as well, 4 countries involved. And when we talk about Vitrine, most of those films that we distribute have quite a repercussion in festivals. We're talking about co-productions, and of course, they are born and are produced in a certain way, not only because Brazil in terms of production and investment money, but for a strategic point of view as well, and a strategy, so to get to the market with more possibilities of selling in other territories as well. Vitrine Films has also a commercial label. It was responsible really for amazing figures in terms of sales, tickets. We were top 10 Netflix throughout the world. That was quite something for us as well. And so it is really something quite impressive when we talk about co-productions and sales. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you very much as well. I'll pass now the floor to Marcio. Very good morning. Good morning to you all. I'm Marcio Fraccaroli, and I would like to start thanking this invitation. Quite an honor, very happy, I should say, to be here to share this panel with other speakers for us to discuss and understand our market, problems, solutions that we see and foresee for our Brazilian market. Paris Films is a company that has more than 60 years. It was founded by a Romanian that came to Brazil. The family is not running the company anymore. Nowadays, the company belongs to another group, but it originally started with a company that imported and distributed French films, because the famous Sandy father, he brought to Brazil French films, and he starts Paris Films in the city of São Paulo, and that's how the city started. Today, we are leaders in the market. We are an investment fund born 17 years ago when a company, Summit, was then part of Lionsgate, another company, and we had to create financing and contracts so that producers could finance themselves. At that time, we were very happy to see a film called Crepúsculo, Dawn, and then quite an important company was started, 20 to 30 films, the only company that has really American studio, Lionsgate, considered the sixth biggest studio in the American market, investing in production more than $3 billion, and it is a public company. We also make acquisitions of many different films in the market. We're a very structured company. We have 4 agents every day looking for projects, and for Latin America as well. And we have agents working with Lionsgate and with the American market. This is all to say that we are very connected, and of course this when we talk about Cannes and the world of a lot of business, billions, so we are as well players here. The biggest independent company in Brazil, leader in the market. When we put together national and international films, we have first place in the market, which of course brings us a lot of respect, I must say. We were obliged to create a distribution in Latin America as well, so Paris Films is a distributor that have many in Mexico, Chile, Peru, Argentina, Colombia, Ecuador markets. Well, Paris Films is present, so a Brazilian film that is relevant can be distributed in Peru and Ecuador. We have today the distributor, so this is why we buy international products. And we had throughout the years very good relation with the Brazilian market, the producers. We had as well a beginning, very beautiful beginning with Gulani. At that time we were market leaders with in terms of DVD, Blu-ray. Back in the days, we did not produce and distributed Brazilian films in the cinemas. We distributed them only in DVD. We're talking about films of Fernando, Walter. So we started to have contact with Brazilian films and started knowing what production was. Public policies were created during the first mandate of Lula, so that was quite impressive for our industry, an industry that then starts becoming much more accessible, with funds being able to finance itself, depending less and less on the government, understanding the film distribution environment, and understanding that agents for production were very important. They should have resources, because at that time in Brazil we only produced films in terms if they had, of course, what we call a tax waiver. And, well, this is not a criticism to the state. Like films like Ainda Estou Aqui, we work for interests of people don't tend to think about international stories, but so what I want to say is that our distributors, our film distribution, producers, media companies must really take care of our market. This is how I see it. We also work with film distribution very efficiently, 104 people working daily. We have a production market as well. We produced the film My Sister and I, Minha Irmã e Eu, with Tata Werneck. That was a leader as well. And we had a very beautiful stories with Nantal, 15 years distributing in Brazil. And we were very happy, really, to see a lot of Brazilian comedy with Paulo, Hassum, Fabio, with this great generation that was going from TV and internet to screens, to films. Paulo, Hassun, Ingrid, some of them were actors at TV Globo. They were doing comedy. At that time, Brazilian cinema was, we used to look a lot at TV Globo as a reference. They were really an inducer of cinema, not only as a supporter, but as well training talents and training screenwriters, creating what we called the comedy hubs. And at that time we understood that Brazil had to start doing comedy as well. And we had the decision to not only redistribute films with producers that we have, because today Paris Film has business with all of the big houses in Brazil, Golani, Conspiração, O2, Midigal as well, Morena Filmes, and so many others that we do. So those are open for us to hear good stories. We're always very open to hear, but we decided to produce as well. And why is that? Because sometimes a producer wants to produce for others, for another market, for other principles. And Paris Films, till today, is a company that sees the domestic market. I work daily so that we have our market share, that we can occupy our cinema theaters, so that we can't let American companies, as with their great blockbusters, to get all of the income and take it away. So Brazil must have at least between 9 and 18% of market share. I always talk with my colleagues, producers, and to public authorities as well. I see here Joelma, and she knows I really defend in sectorial funds and the Brazilian Council of Films. We want projects that are aligned with, in terms of experience. Public is different nowadays in terms of movie theaters. It's not easy neither for the Americans nor for us, North Americans. I mean, we have but a great market still, and we have great challenges of distribution. Brazil, and I think Gabriel knows this, Brazil of Paraná and Santa Catarina is not the same Brazil that is in Maranhão, for instance. So when we distribute a film, there is a high cost of its distribution. Of course, we have to have communication. We have to cover this huge territory. We are 210 million inhabitants. We are different countries as we are. And if we don't have good structure and investment, we won't be able to. Of course, São Paulo and Rio, we can do it, but it's different. Like countries like Argentina, Mexico, where capitals really concentrate a lot. But here, in Brazil, it really, we need a lot of money to distribute because of the territory, to understand what the public wants, what they don't. And so those were the thoughts I wanted to share with you, giving a general context of the situation. Thank you. Excellent. Thank you so much. I'll pass now the floor to Gabriel. He'll speak about TV Globo. Thank you, Karin. Very good morning to you all. I would like to start thanking as well this invitation of the ministry here, represented by Joelma Gonzaga, our Audiovisual Secretary, and all the Brazilian delegation that is here, that came. Such an honor to be in this festival, such an important festival for the industry. And for me personally, as someone who loves movies, I can't express my happiness to be here. So many festivals that I have been to. How could I imagine that I would be here today in the Grand Lumière Theatre, seeing Brazil doing history, getting in here with frevo, dancing with culture from the northeast of Brazil. So that's quite amazing. And to be a representative of Globo and to be here, to be able to speak, represent then Globo at this festival. It's precisely in the year where Globo is 100 years old, as great really sponsor of the Brazilian movie. So I believe that there is a very important social function of to transmit values, provoke thought, and transform lives as well. This is what films do. And in terms of distribution, of course, we have many challenges, geographic ones, social ones as well. And Globo, since the beginning, they had this mission, taking culture and quality content to everyone in our country. So TV Globo by itself has been alone is exhibiting more than 700 films to 166 million viewers. So 80% of the Brazilian population accesses films through TV Globo from their homes, which really opens many doors for us to develop culture in film culture, to get to know more and more and to deepen ways of doing. All of the global ecosystem, and I have to say it's one of the biggest in Latin America, we are really engaged with films. We have global play, digital portals as well to promote, and as well movie theaters. We want to take people to the movie theaters, but as well to take all of this Brazilian and international content to all our population with the least possible segmentation. And I would like to say as well that we have investment and a production pillar as well. We have more than 500 films that were done this way. I remember, Joelma, in the first panel, you quoted some films of the story of Cannes Festival, and you said, what did they all have in common? Public financing, but also co-production, the global label of co-production. And it's nice to see that Brazil, I understand, is a country with such a potential. And today, we have putting together global films, co-production, streaming, global play, TV Globo, and pay TV channels. We have more than 100 projects that had the green light to then launch films in the next upcoming 4 years. And then to conclude, I wanted to say that our engagement really with movies and films is not something new. It's something we've been working on for many years, and we are in a very special moment now. We would like to underline this engagement we have for the years to come. Our work, our streaming, global play, working as well with many original productions, but always putting forward films, our production films that first go, then to consider it a flexible window and look for all the potentialities, like Ainda Estou Aqui, a great honor. We'll talk further about it. It stayed 6 months in movie theaters before then. So all of this is to say that we're really engaged with the culture of cinema in Brazil, and it's quite a happiness and honor to be here talking about it today with all of you. Thank you so much. It was amazing to have these players who are here to represent and talk about production, distribution, and exhibition. Quite an opportunity for us to talk about as well the development of our industry in the audiovisual sector in Brazil. So to start with, I would like to comment in terms of Brazilian market. I would like you to react on the following idea: which factors did allow this Brazilian audiovisual industry to flourish? Well, I believe there is a before and after the pandemic. So before, we were growing quite quickly. We saw that we have social classes that we can call C and D having more and more possibilities, and then looking for shopping malls and movie theaters in places like Madureira, Caricatuva, places that did not have a movie theater. So there was a big investment to build malls in those regions, working class regions of our main cities. So we got to be we sold many tickets with Minha Mãe é uma Peça, and we had surprising figures in terms of box office. And beginning of Lula government, then those working classes were having much more, should I say, purchasing power. But now technology, after pandemic, they oblige us to think and how to reorganize, how to retell a story. We saw a very beautiful story told by Kleber yesterday. So it shows that the experience of the movie theater, when we tell a good story with a budget, with quality, with good management, with technicians, in a very efficient way, we will be able really to occupy those spaces. When we see films of Walter and Kleber, we really understand and see the excellence of we have in terms of art, in terms of photography, in terms of screenplay. And so this is all really a desire we had and the result of many different investments and possibilities we have. People that really believed in projects that had very important budgets. So it was a vision of a company that was brave enough to put money into a drama film that indeed afterwards gave us such pride. That was very important for us. We have now Kleber, and there's a film on Ney Mato Grosso, the artist, a film as well going in the same direction. And why? Because when we have an industry that produces 300 films a year, and we decide for some reason that we want to produce 300 films, then there are indeed films, not such quality. But this is important as well. Brazil cannot have a vision only of production. I should say we have to train our audience. In my opinion, at this moment, Brazil is dividing part of its resources, training its public and its audience. This is what we want to do as well. There is a television on the one hand, malls and shopping centers as well, understanding that people want to go to those boxes, those black boxes. Youngsters, well, do they really want to go to the movie theaters nowadays? So we really have to take advantage of this expansion of public resources to move forward. 4 billion reais were invested to refurbish movie theaters. And how do we train audience? Well, we have to have really tickets with lower prices. They cannot cost the same thing as films like Mission Impossible. We're talking about $3 million, $4 million of production, comparing to one that costed 250 or 380. So you see, Brazil is a poor country. We do not have money to go to movie theaters. Working classes then need help. We need mechanisms with the universities and look not only in terms of production, but distribution and audience training is something very important. We need it to be a public policy and industrial policy as well. So with our technical quality, and we saw it, we saw our best. They were here on screen, and we are able to do it. We can get to places like this, but we need talent and we need to train. We have to be a success first in Brazil to then move on to the rest of the world. That's my opinion. I would absolutely agree with what you said. I do agree. There is a before and after the pandemic, and I think that the audience that is always looking into North American films and then the series Gulani did Sena, if the value of production they can see at home is big, so to go to a movie theater and have tickets at the same price like Mission Impossible, well, what can I say? our stories, why are we then going to look for those films like Ney Mato Grosso, Claudio and Bochecha? Well, it's our story. It's us, very Brazilian products that are very emotional for us when we see it. Our Brazil is very big, very diverse, and we'd like to see our artists on screen, our stories, of course. Undoubtedly, we have to think about how and why nowadays people go to the movie theater. So value of production is fundamental. Ainda Estou Aqui, Agente Secreto, those are films and series that are very expensive. So the internationalization is so important. We have resources in Brazil, yes, we have global, we have sectorial funds, we have Article 3, but more than often we need more. 4 countries were then partners for those big films, and of course exchanging among professionals, flying from the Netherlands to Paris, and we see that it's very good for the Brazilian industry. Technicians get to know each other, networks, and a lot of exchanges in terms of technique, this art, this exchange of culture, value of production, so that's very important. But you have many other films, I must say, that do not have such a budget, and it's the same price, they cost the same thing. So if you go to see Spider-Man or Mission Impossible and pay the same thing, so in terms of policies, in terms of training, in terms of a movie theater, well, that is quite something. We have a project at Vitrine Film since 2011. It happens in many cities in Brazil, and basically we are subsidizing prices of tickets. At the beginning, we have support of Globo and Canal Brazil, who had a license so that tickets could be then reduced, and after 2016 we had the support of Petrobras as well, because of course all of that costs a lot to travel up and down, so and to have those subsidized tickets is of course a huge effort, but it also is quite a success for us and for the public, and for we really work in different cities, and we have price that goes from student price of 10 reais up to 20. So, and then to bring the whole team, to bring a director to talk students, schools and universities. So that is also important. Many things that are done then thanks to this support, thanks of help, public help. None of this could be done without proper investment, you see. Thank you. Thank you, Marcio. Thank you, Silvia. We heard really many challenges. It's important that you see relevant factors and challenges. There is something I would like to ask you now. I think it could be a tool, in a way, to broaden visibility of movies and audiovisual in Brazil, to talk about this strategy in terms of international market. All of you have quite an experience in that term, and I wanted to Ana and Gabriel to answer the following question. On your view, how could we broaden Brazilian participation? How to have more space in this market? What kind of challenges do you perceive? I'll pass you the floor. Oh, well, I think that we managed to do a lot in the last years, like Silvia and Marcio said. We still have a lot to do, domestic market, in terms of market share, and in terms of international market. Well, I would say that we had quite a year happening here in France, institutionally, relation with Brazil, and we have this challenge. We have to keep building this route and opening with our state institutions, and to continue fostering our films, strengthening relations, private companies, production companies coming and working and exchanging. So from an independent point of view, we have some challenges still. We have many agreements, international agreements. There are bilateral, we've been working on, and we use it a lot, agreements with Europe, Latin America. Those are very consistent already. Some of them need to be updated to include streaming, television, and so on and so forth. But we still have to keep moving forward. We think this is in our idea to have agreements with Asia, Middle East. We had an agreement with India recently, so Gudlani was able to put forward quite an animation together with India called Noah's Arca Genoe. So when we make progress in those bilateral agreements, we can expand those borders and take our films, our histories to the international market. I believe as well that there is a desire of organizing our agendas. I think that Europe has many things quite organized already in terms of funds, in terms of answers, to have more to can foresee indeed and plan. That is something quite important for producers, for films. It's not simple. Indeed, it's very complex. It's quite a challenge. We're dealing with this regulation of streaming. I think that many countries have gone that path. They had that battle to face, should I say, and this brings really quite something for our independent production in Brazil to be really in Brazil, I should say, is the second biggest market for many international streaming. So we understand that we have to have this power of realization in our country, for our country, training the audience in our country, but as well for the international market. So I think that streaming regulation is something that will contribute a lot for us to be present, for us to be in this new moment with our independent content, property issues, histories that we propose. So it's a whole pack of new rules, regulations that have been then in the last years rethought, and it will make our independent production more consistent, and we will be able really to be present nationally and internationally in another position. Thank you. Thank you so much, Karen. Yes, you said very well. And for us to expand, I think we are already in the right path. We are doing very well. Brazil this year is recognized in main international awards. We had then the Silver Bear, Oscar, and here we are. So to recognize the artistic quality of our talents, that is really amazing, and it's undeniable. It happened already. A work of all of us here at the Marché du Film. We have also to say that Brazil is also a place of business opportunity. We have strong companies that can co-produce scale and in quality as well. We still have some challenges, very big ones, in terms of international competitivity, especially if we consider some of our neighbor countries that has a smaller market, but they have investments that then make them more competitive. But we have to keep looking into our industry and our executives, building bridges, international investors, but we must not forget infrastructure. This is what I wanted to underline, and it's something that I heard a lot when we also speak of the strength of production infrastructure. That is fundamental, and Brazil has a lot. It's great to see Brazil getting awards, being artistically recognized, but it's even more, it fills me with pride to see a Brazilian stand present in such a market, creating connections, opening doors, fostering bridges with the rest of the planet. So I wanted to say that we must to understand that culture is also business. It generates employment, income, so it must be thought as an industry.
Maravilha, uau, assim, fazendo. Acho que um ótimo panorama aqui que a gente teve tanto
Thank you so much.
para o Brasil quanto para fora e seus desafios.
For Brazil,
E aí, levando em consideração
inside and outside, and taking into consideration that you all have a big international experience and you partake in developing the industry in Brazil, together with the evolution of the Brazilian audiovisual industry. Now, let us talk about the future. How do you see this industry in Brazil and outside in terms of international insertion, business? I would like you to react on that now, please. Sylvia, I'll pass you the floor to begin with. Well, it's very hard to foresee. Our audiovisual world is changing so much. Players are changing, and well, it's hard to talk about the future. But we have quite a power to tell good stories, and I think that will not change. People will still be going to movie theaters or at home. Movies are quite an art, and it will continue that way. That's the only thing I know for sure. Brazil is now in quite a moment in terms of changes, and we are learning so much. We have been doing more and more, bigger and bigger production, so I see with good years the eyes and the Brazilian production. It's a very huge country, yes, indeed, and we still have to underline the importance of training the audience. Kids and adolescents, they must understand what it is to go to a movie theater. Brazil has shown, and we are in the main festivals, films, competition, many. When I think about other countries as well, in terms of investments to bring productions, we still have a lot to grow. Brazil has amazing environments, more than 1,000 technicians involved, like in Agente Secreto, the Secret Agent film. So I think that the Brazilian production will still move forward. I'm hopeful, but we have still to train our audience. That's what I would say. That's our main challenge. Yes, we have to cooperate. We have to make partnerships in international point of view, talking. As a representative of Globo, we have to help attract these investments, being a player with quite size and credibility. It can help international investors to come to Brazil and make those projects possible. But I would like really to say that we have national partnerships as well, where we really form a unity, industry and market that we have been looking forward to. And I would like to say that we made an agreement, downtown Paris and Globo, to distribute our original films produced by Globo Studios. We have this mission of producing one film for TV per month, and some of them really very well done, very refined, and to bring public to the movie theaters, to then strengthen our capacity of distribution, our film industry, and bringing more and more public to movie theaters. This is our main objective, this training, this new eye, these youngsters, for them to understand what it is to go to the movies, and together with independent market. So we have now this new portfolio of content to bring new public to the movies with original production of Globo. I'm very happy then to announce this agreement I've been negotiating and talking about for some time. That was amazing. Thank you. Yes, Gabriel, thank you as well. Downtown Paris Films and were chosen to distribute films that Global Studios will produce, and for us working with movies, well, it's an honor, really. We're quite proud of it. Companies that come from media, from Open TV, then so generously putting at disposition talent, management, intelligence, infrastructure, governance. Very happy, really, and it's quite an honor for me. I'm sure it will be amazing, and with the participation of market share that we really need to look after. Brazil sells annually 180 million tickets, and we would like to have 18 to 20% of that, and I think that Global Studios show this very well. So in that sense, I wanted to compliment as well the studios and Global. For 6 months. A film has been Ainda Estou Aqui in the movies for 6 months, and we are in a moment after the terrible government we had with Bolsonaro. We depended on streamers and private capital. Hundreds signed agreements just to be able to film and to pay wages and their bills. So sometimes films have no time for exhibition time, and Globo is quite a partner. The film stayed in the movies for 6 months, and it has a streaming company. It needs marketing. It needs those members. It's not an e-commerce. You see, it's a streaming Globo Play. So I would really like to show that what we are doing, we're doing with a lot of hope. I really saw today a democratic government, Joelma and Minister Margaret. It's so good to see such a democratical ministry and your works. Thank you very much. You understood very well that Brazil is a very complex and diverse country. When we are in those meetings, we see different ways of thinking, but we want us all not to think individually, but as a collectivity, as a country. So what I see is a country getting very well organized. I see cities like São Paulo, Rio, and Salvador getting organized for film commissions. I see different culture secretaries looking for intermediation, really interested, and in terms really of what has been done and scouting for cities. That is amazing. We have now many laws like Almir Blanc, laws that were then as a law and resources put up by President Lula. But most important of all, talking about training audience, it's very important that our films are present in the streaming. So not only the series, but feature films as well. If you look in streamings, I would say that what they launch is, well, national films, I think 10 to 12 today. And it's quite a shame. There's big companies that are in Brazil doing so many feature films We need regulation, and we need something fair for everyone. We need something that is straightforward and to having the independence, the protagonism of the Brazilian producer and its work, and contract laws that would allow a film to stay at least more than 45 days on the movies. It's what we have today. And this is done by the government, and the government must do its work, public activity. So at some point, the government has to understand this, and I think we are doing so. We are understanding Brazil as an industry, and in terms of audiovisual, we have also been working together with foreign commerce. So this means that Brazil is looking at its film industry as commerce as well, as important as the agro-business, for instance, or others, when we can attract really a lot. So I'm very hopeful. I see that our cities are looking for attracting films and scouting, so we have to just then, as a challenge, to do things a bit faster. We should, so that the resources also come quicker. And I think that in Brazil as well, to train public, we have to deal with the risk in this market we have here, where we are. Everyone has credit. It's impossible that Brazil does not see audiovisual credit, not in terms of bank taxes, like Brazil in an inflation situation, paying 15 or 60%. But all my friends that I visit producing films, well, they have then possibilities of taking a risk with low tax interest. So Brazil has been seen as credit possibilities subsidized by the state, because the state also is subsidiary for car production and agro-business, so why not the audiovisual market? So this is what I wanted to underline. Thank you. Thank you so much, and I'll pass now the floor to Anna to react on this question about the future. Well, it's amazing what I heard here. I agree absolutely with everything that was said. Last year we were here with, there was a sentence that we used to say a lot, is Brazil is back. So we were having Lula back in power, another Ministry of Culture that would be strong, with Margarete and Joelma, and we saw it really was possible. So this was very hopeful for us. We were, for some time, not being able to have our plenitude. And now then we have a baby, Motel Destino, Último Azul, Ainda Estou Aqui, Brazilian films, and Secret Agents as well, a sequence of Brazilian films that are seen nationally and internationally, with an impressive market share that Ainda Estou Aqui was able to acquire as well. So it's in fact, Brazil is really back, and now we came to stay. We really have to keep on developing and going through those pathways, partnerships, public, private institutions, production companies, professionals. We have to move on that way, keep doing it like this. We are power, we must say, and we have to be in our local market and international markets as well, inserted in this ecosystem. And it's quite something. We were able in the last year to rethink our culture and to put our audiovisual, our movies back to the screens in so many different screens all around the world. Thank you so much. I would like then to thank you all very, very much. Development, audiovisual market in Brazil, and this international vision that you prove. So I would like once again to thank the partners, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Culture, our secretary is here as well. Thank you so much. CIS, Cinema do Brasil, Globo, Projeto Paradismo, Sebrae, and Banco do Brasil. Thank you all very, very much. Have a good day.